Hi, my name's Steve McClure. I'm the executive editor of online music business newsletter McCluremusic.com.
Who are the stars of J-pop at the moment?
Well, there's a really easy answer to that question, and I can just say AKB48. And I know you're a big fan out there, folks. I'm not necessarily a huge fan, but hey, I'm a middle-aged white guy. They're not targeting me, right? Thank God. That idol paradigm has taken on a new lease on life in the form of AKB48 and all their sister groups. And there are boy groups too, the Johnny's stable of acts. And so this historically has caused a lot of people outside Japan, even inside Japan. A lot of Japanese people feel the same way, oddly enough, to say Japanese pop music is crap. Hey folks, it isn't. But if you just look at the surface, you could say that. I mean, nothing wrong with AKB48. I mean, they're not killing anybody, right? But it's just pretty mindless entertainment. But there's a whole wealth of Japanese music beyond that, which, because of the centralization and very, how shall I say it, vertically integrated structure of the Japanese musical cultural apparatus, doesn't get a lot of visibility compared to the AKB48s, who are not really a musical act. They are a giant marketing phenomenon, which happens to be a musical act. You've got to get that straight, as far as I can see.
There's such a loyal fan base there for that sort of group.
But that's back to the Galapagos thing, because AKB48 is designed for domestic consumption. And what's really interesting is to compare them to the Korean, the K-pop idol groups, which are designed for external consumption. And this is where we get away from culturalist explanations. Culturalist explanations for cultural phenomena are often based on circular logic, which is, well, the Japanese like this because they like this, right? But if you look into the K-pop or the Korean music industry ecosystem, there's so little money to be made in Korea, which is a smaller market and which has a very different revenue stream. The telcos have the lion's share of the revenue stream. So insofar as anybody wants to make any serious money and you're in Korea from K-pop, you have to export. And that's not the case in Japan. You've got a huge, I hesitate to use the word, but captive domestic market. Japanese have got the music companies there have got a lock on their domestic market for those culturalist reasons, and there's money to be made because they've got, Japan is 127 million people, right? And it's a pretty affluent society, notwithstanding 2 decades of stagnation. Japanese rock, I just throw out a random example, an artist, this goes back to an earlier point, who's not only just a great rock artist, but an artist who's sadly underappreciated, certainly outside of Japan, maybe inside Japan. Sheena Ringo. Ringo is her given name. She's a very original, eccentric singer-songwriter. I don't know whether I would actually call her a rock act, but she's, guitar, bass, drums kind of music. There are a lot of acts like her. Ring Toshite Shigure, which is sort of a semi-underground band. They deserve a wider audience. There's a great band, Straightener. They deserve a wider audience. Again, hard rock. And one of my favorite Japanese bands, which they sort of made their second debut recently, Veteran Act. Nobody in Japan seems to have heard of them. They have a major label deal. Great 3, right? Great band, right? Their most recent album, whose title escapes me right now, folks, sorry, is just definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. It's sophisticated, adult, but very original rock with a hard sound. But you're not going to hear that on the radio.